Tehran UFO encounter, when UFOs cause problems in warplane instruments. And this is not only in Tehran, Iran warplanes, it goes on worldwide. But this is a report from what happened in Tehran. And what we're reading here next describes an incident that occurred September 1976 between pilots of then Imperial Iranian Air Force IAFF and mysterious UFO objects, which, among other things, disabled the aircraft's weapons in flight and caused instrument problems. By 0:30, or that would be 12:30 midnight on September 19, 1976, it was a quiet night for the IAFF command based in Tehran until 4 calls came from the outskirts of the city reporting a series of strange objects in the sky. And although at first they thought maybe someone had gotten confused, that was ruled out after the officers went outside and saw for themselves that something unusual was happening in the sky. An F-4 Phantom II plane was sent for reconnaissance. Pilot Yadi Nazari reported that a glowing object was visible 70 miles away. However, when he approached it at 25 nautical miles, several instruments on his plane and the entire communication system stopped working, forcing the pilot to pull away until all systems began to function normally once again. Can you imagine how frightening that must be? A second F-4 was dispatched 10 minutes later and kept a safe distance. The UFO began to move away but was still detectable on radar. Visibly, it had lights in a rectangular pattern and alternating different colors, blue, green, red, and orange. According to the pilot, the color change was so fast that all the colors were visible at the same time. As the F-4 continued to follow it from a distance over southern Tehran, a second smaller object broke away from the original and headed for the plane. The panicked pilot attempted to drop an AIM-9 missile but was unable to do so because the aircraft's weapons control panel was disabled, as was the communication system in UHF. To avoid this, the pilot had to make a sharp maneuver, an acceleration dive with many Gs. However, the small flying object continued to follow him and his plane and was behind him for about 4 or 5 nautical miles in the air until it returned and re-entered the parent UFO, the mothership. It was like a kind of a tracker. When this happened, a third object emerged from the parent UFO, the mothership, and appeared to be in free fall. Having regained control of the instruments and weapon system, the F-4 crew observed a third object, believing it to be a bomb dropped by the UFO, and that it would explode when it reached the ground. But instead, it landed softly on the ground and shone brightly and illuminated an area for nearly 3 kilometers. Let's remember this happened at night. Now, the F-4 flew as low as possible to pinpoint where this light landed and reported it to its base. Both planes then noticed another UFO hovering overhead as they made reconnaissance circles. Unlike the other 3, this one was cylindrical in shape, about 8 meters long, that's about 25-30 feet long, and had steady lights at the end and flashing lights in the center. The pilot asked the control tower if they could spot it on radar, and although the answer was no, they couldn't spot it, the pilot could see it visually. Eventually, they were ordered to return to base. Returning to base, they continued to experience problems with the night vision device for landing and communication systems. A nearby civilian aircraft experienced similar problems with this communication system, although it reported no unusual observations. The next day, they went to the spot where they believed the one UFO had landed for investigation. It was the bed of a dry lake, and there seemed nothing unusual about the area. The locals, however, when asked if they had seen anything, claimed to have heard strange noises the night before and seen lights as bright as lightning. It is known that a team was sent shortly afterward to investigate the area and carry out various tests, including checks on radiation levels. The results were never made known. And since there are plenty of sly ones, to tell the truth, This is all from a declassified document written by Henry S. Shields of U.S. Air Force Europe, USAFE, which can be accessed at NSA.gov. So this is not a tall tale. This actually did happen. This I've translated for a Greek article for you. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Finally, support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.